Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Wait a
Hi.
minute, that's not Anne.
No.
It's our friend Eileen. Anne is taking the night off. And Eileen, thank you so much
Oh,
for a last minute call to say, hey, I need somebody to chat with tonight.
no problem.
Put this down. And I had my YouTube channel up also.
Uh,
So now I am so surprised we caught you at home
yeah, me too.
because how long were you traveling?
We were gone 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
So,
fun.
I'm going to ask you to fill in all the blanks of what you did and where you were. So, where do you want to start?
Well, what I did was I took I called it the UK Roadshow, and we have a group over on Facebook, the Eileen Hall Fan Club, and somebody in the group had said, you should come over. Well, I've been thinking about it because I've done this now. This is my third trip, so I was planning one, and then I added on an extra store, which was thanks to Sheila and Isabel, who said, you should come up to Scotland. So that was kind of a fun addition that we weren't planning to do. But basically, my husband took off work, and he drove us around the UK, which was crazy because those roads are little and it's on the wrong side of the road. And he got a stick car. So he was shifting with his left hand.
Oh,
And
no.
yeah, I maybe could have done it. And I said to him one night, I think I could have done this. And he's like, ah, I think, yeah,
Wow.
why would I? He
You
did
have
it.
to keep reminding yourself to drive on the other side too. And you have to
Yeah,
figure out when you get to an intersection, wait,
right.
if I'm turning
Go
right,
that
side
way.
am I supposed to be on? If I'm turning left, I
Yes.
did that in, I've been to Switzerland and I had the first part of that trip it was with the Lean's Creative Living, and so it was a busload of crafters. And then the second week, I, my mom and my sister Heidi and I rented a car, and for some reason, I was a designated driver.
Oh,
That was
geez.
so painful. It's
Oh,
like I would
wow.
never do that again. So, I
Oh, man.
congratulations to your husband for pulling
Yeah.
that off.
Oh, I owe him. Yeah. Well, he had a good time too. When I would teach, because I taught in 4 different stores, and I visited Sizzix headquarters, and I went to Hobby Maker, and I did some videos there. And so when I would go do that, he would go off exploring and seeing stuff he wanted to see. And he had a great time too. He went to Downton Abbey. He went, yeah, we went to Stonehenge. And Leah, I see Lenine saying, I just found out today there is a new book. This Ken Follett, this author that I've read, who wrote about a book about Stonehenge. So I want to get it and read it because
Oh,
it
how cool
was
would that be?
fascinating. Yeah.
So, the purpose of your trip, one of the purposes besides having a fabulous trip and meeting a lot of people, was you have a new release, right?
Yes, I have a new release with Sizzix, and I was, it came out September 1st, and we left. We were gone the first to, or the third to the. Oh no, we left the first. We were gone the first to the 14th. So it was like hot off the press, and I taught with it, and so everybody got to work with it. So it was kind of cool.
So, do we get a peek at it? It's not a sneak peek because
No,
others,
no, it's out.
I
Yeah,
haven't
sure.
seen it.
Yeah.
I want to see
Yeah,
it.
well, I'll tell you what kind of inspired me. I had seen this book. It's called a tunnel book. And I got it at a thrift store, or I saw it at a thrift store. I can't find it. I thought I bought it, but I can't find it. Anyway, I was intrigued by the idea because it was like it's called a tunnel because when you look down the openings, it looks like it's you're going through a tunnel, and at the end, the perspective is like small. So it's a series of openings that get gradually smaller. So anyway, I wanted to kind of replicate that in a die set. So it's actually a set of nesting dies, and they're called tunnel arches. So that's the first one. So you can, cut these in a series. You can cut out these little individual arches for like a frame. Can I ever get that? Or you can use like the outside of it as an opening. So there's all kinds of ways you can use it. And then the next one that I have is this windowsill flower and vase, which is really nice for cards. And actually the largest of the tunnels work with this. So if you wanted to insert that in the cover of a book, then you can do that instead of the tunnel opening. And the last one, this one is called Home Sweet Home, because it reminds me of how happy I am when I'm at home. And we have little deer and not so many bunnies. We've had a couple of those, but we have a lot of fox and a ton of squirrels. So that's that. And then this is the last item. This is called Lacy Leaves. And this is an embossing folder. And so this is the fourth piece of it. And then it kind of works with this other die, which is the handbound journal. So I designed it so that the arches fit right inside that cover. And then also these journal hardware, you can make little hinges and things to put inside, or to decorate the book cover. So that was my thought on how that came together. So in class we made this tunnel book and I showed people how to put it together, and it was really fun. Everybody's came out so different and so cool. We did some watercoloring inside the book, and then we added all little trees and leaves so that it looked, dimensional, and it was very fun. So thank you, Orly. Yeah.
Everybody's talking about baking in our chat, and it's like, that's making me hungry.
I know.
The bread's my favorite.
Talking about that. Being hungry. Not that I am. I'm trying to lose the weight.
When you're traveling overseas, do you see things that are different in the craft world?
Yeah, they have different like adhesives, some, but a lot of the things are similar. They may call them different things. They're packaged differently, but they have basically the same stuff. I did go to a hobby craft store, which was huge. It was 2 stories. And I thought I had heard that they were closing. So I saw one. I'm like, oh, I need to go see. So they had a lot of seasonal things, a lot like Michael's that we would have. I went to a lot of scrapbooking stores, and a lot of them carried the same brands of papers and, things like that. So, yeah, I would say they're similar,
Mm-hmm.
But there are some companies that are more popular over there. So,
Mm-hmm.
they may have some things that are just common to them. And their slang is a little different. I don't get that. And the Scottish accent, for sure, I did not get the hang of that. I tried.
Do you ask him to slow down?
I did, yes. And then, I was thinking about it, and I was saying to my husband, like, if I can't understand them, does that mean they don't understand me? And I asked them in class, and they're like, oh, no, we get what you're saying. I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with me. But they did talk slow, and I did get it. But some, there's definitely some words I did not get.
So Lenine, there are different chats that go in our chat depending on where everyone's watching, if I understand correctly. But it looks like everyone is on the YouTube chatting about baking. So, and it looks like you are too. But anyway, and how do you put together these tours? Because you made a lot of stops. I followed you on social media, and I saw all the stops that you made. How do you put together a tour like that?
Well, it was kind of a combination of Sizzix. They reached out. With the first trip I did all the arrangements, and I had Jenny from my team drove me around. And, we went together and went to all the stops. That was the first trip. And that was 2 weeks that I did. And that was like non-stop. We did something every day. And it was a little much. It was a blast, but it was a lot. So the next one we did, I think I had a couple days off. This one I had probably 4 days off. So that was nice because we had time in between. Well, we flew into London, and then I taught for 4 days in a row. Then I had a day. Then we went to, I went to Hobby Maker, did some stuff there. Then I went to Sizzix, and we had a couple days to drive up to Scotland because it was a good drive. It was, and we had a big detour. And, here it's like, they said, you guys in America have a different sense of how close things are, because I live outside of DC. Everything is at least a half an hour or an hour, and you get in the car and you just listen to a book on tape or whatever, and you don't think anything about it. But their roads are not like ours, and they're kind of convoluted, and there are some highways, but to get to everywhere we had to go, the time took a lot longer than we thought it would. So that was one thing. And it's not that big a country, but it just took a while to get around. So I don't know. I was happy that we had a little bit of time to drive and see things, So as far as setting up the trip, Sizzix did kind of the first half, and then I did the second half. So because that store in Scotland, Sizzix didn't know about that. So I just said, you know what? We're here for 2 weeks. I'm going to go see Scotland.
Yeah.
So that was our last stop.
Cool. I do have more questions about your trip, but I do want to put a link in to our chat to remind if anyone wants to share in the spotlight tonight, if you want to come on and join us and show us what you're crafting, there is the link to get into our green room, and we'll keep an eye open for you. And as always, we'd love for you to share whatever you're creating.
Yeah. I see Lenine in there, and she said, do you understand the people talking English in Scotland? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They were speaking English, but I could not get it because of their strong accent. Not everyone, but some. So I kind of was guessing a lot of times.
And was everyone who signed up for your class very familiar with your product line and have been big fans for a long time?
I think a lot of them were, because I recognized their names from being on lives.
Okay.
And some said, I don't ever comment, but I watch, and so, and some of them had been to every time I've come over, I've taught, and they've come to a class in one place or another. There's a lady, Judy, who her husband drives her. She came down from Wales to a class down, so they're just so nice and kind and friendly. And, you just go in, you feel like it's more fun than work, but, I didn't tell my husband that, but it was fun.
That is so cool. And I know I saw you packing and getting ready for your trip. Was a lot of that samples that you had to bring back, or materials, or you must have come back a much lighter than when you left?
I theoretically should have, but then we bought stuff.
Okay.
Oh man, the night before, luckily my husband, he travels for work. So we were each able to have 3 70-pound suitcases, which we didn't have, but a couple of them were close.
Okay.
So, yeah, we made it, but it was tight. We didn't use that much. I did have samples, and I wound up bringing some things back, like the dyes that I taught with. I thought, I'm going to bring them because I will probably teach with them here too. So anyway, I don't know. It was heavy, but we packed them in and then didn't see them till we got home.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's so cool. So cool. Yeah. I want to invite anyone who's in our chat to post any questions for Eileen. And in just a moment, we're going to welcome our special guest, our second special guest tonight, Rebekah Meier. And for for those of you who are just joining us, Anne has taken the night off. And so Eileen is filling in tonight. So I needed someone to chat with and to co-host. So my friend Eileen, which is perfect timing because just coming back from your trip, you have lots of stories to share.
Oh.
And so it's pretty cool. But I think we're going to go ahead then. And I don't see any new questions. So we're going to welcome Rebekah.
Yay.
Cool2Craft. Hey, Rebekah.
Hi, Rebekah.
How are my buddies?
Good. Good to see you.
You too.
We're good. Everything going well in your creative world?
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
I'm in the process of rearranging. I'm slowly taking over the whole house. I've got so much stuff. And a lot of times, if I can't find something, I'll reorder it just because it's quicker. And then going through all my stuff. So that's what I've had on my plate here lately.
Oh, cool. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to make you full screen, and do me a favor, introduce yourself, give us a little bit of your bio, and then go right into sharing what you have brought tonight. And when you're done, just say if anyone has any questions, and we'll come back in, but we're turning it all over to you.
Okay.
Okay. So give us a moment and we'll get you
up. For having me. It's wonderful. So I am a mixed media artist. I've been in both the craft, quilt, and art markets for about 30 years, and encompassing many, many different things, and learning many different techniques, and working with many products. So that's in a nutshell what I've been doing. And recently I've gotten more into digital designing. So what I'm going to show you tonight is some of my rice papers that I design. I, like I said, digitally design them. And what that means is it always starts, I'm a big fan of gel plate printing. And if you're not familiar with that, the best thing to do is Google it. But what it is I should have one here, but I don't, I'm sorry. A thin piece of gelatin-like material, and you put paints and inks, and it's monoprinting. So I like to do a lot of nature prints, and I scan all of that in to my computer, and then in Adobe Photoshop, I add and take off, and it's a long process for me because I'm not satisfied. Then it keeps going on and on and on. But I can show you some of my pictures, and I'm afraid to put my phone down, so I'm going to hold them up so you can see them. Okay, so the company or the place where I sell my rice papers, so I get everything like I like it, and it's in a file, and then I send it to the oh dear, the online store, joggles.com. Excuse me a minute. So then she sells them on her online store, which is a mixed media store. So hopefully this will, sorry about that. It never fails. So the first papers I did were black and white. So what's nice about black and white papers is you can add your own colors, your inks. So they're really versatile in that, or you can just use them black and white. So for the Halloween season, I think I'm going to add some acrylic paint and inks, and maybe do some rubber stamping on them. That's another thing you can do. And I also love flowers. So they show up a lot in my work. So the color papers that I have, there's quite a few of them. I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years now. So I have quite a few releases of papers. And you, again, you can see them on Joggles, JOGGLE.com. So this is butterflies. This is also, I love circles. I think circles are a go-to of mine, and I suggest if you're ever stuck, just get into making circles of some kind. Not able to see these. Okay. And these are in no particular order of when they were released. It was kind of all mixed together. And in a minute, I will show you some of the things that I use them for. So I find that they're really useful in mixed media, or if you just want to do like home deck, they're really good for that as well. Some are more muted, some are more grungy looking. So those are some of them. And things that I like to do with them, my favorite medium is collage. So I do collage, fabric collage, and also paper collage. So one of my favorite things to do is take all of the papers and on a sheet of watercolor paper and some matte medium, and just make a collage with all the different papers. And this is a good idea for scrap. And then if you want, this one I think I might frame or put on my wall, but once you make something like this, you could fold it and make, a card or a book, or Eileen's book dies. They're great for that because all of her book dies are fantastic. All of her stuff's fantastic. So some of the home deck options that I've made are just taking a wood frame and applying one of my papers, and then I generally like to put once it's dry and it's flat. Usually I do that overnight, and then I'll put a coat of wax on it. Cold wax, I really like. There's different products out there. I use PowerTex, their cold wax, which I really like. And these are just some more different sizes. And this is just a little bird that I did. So those were all just papers that I took and adhered, on the background. Okay, so another thing I like to make, and these are so simple, and it's all, I take again the watercolor paper, and this, cut it to like, I don't know, 8x10 or 9x12, the sheet of watercolor paper, and then I just glue the paper onto it and fold it up, make a pocket, and then just either use tape or glue to, so the sides are together. So you can put something in there. So this is another, and a lot of times with my papers, I like to combine old ephemera, like book pages, stuff that you might have, or just book pages. They don't have to be old. And I combine them with my papers, and I like how that looks as well. And this is an example of that too. This is a sheet of muslin that I just is a combination of ephemera and my papers adhere to muslin. And this I could, use as a book cover or a book. And I could stitch on this. That's the other thing I like to do, is machine stitch things together, or even just decorative. So I have a few more things that I can show you. One of the, with this last release, this is a bookmark pages that you can buy. And I thought it would be cool to do the book this way. And then you can either, put the papers on as a bookmark, or you could just use this to write on, or whatever. And another thing that's fun and cool, I don't know if you can see it, but to die cut flowers and things from my papers, and then I add them to the overall whatever I'm doing design as well. So with the help of Tim Holtz, I had this is an earlier book, but it gives you a good idea of what you can do with the papers, and also with ephemera, or so right here, that's a cut die cut flower. And then this is just, Tim Holtz pictures and stuff, but you could use your own. So kind of get the idea then of just, creating the book to fit what you want to create. So I have a few more pages in that, but I've got them. And these are 5x7 sheets of watercolor. I usually do 140 weight. And of course, tags. I have a multitude of tags, just waiting for something. But I have them when I want to pull them and use them in my books or whatever. And then artist trading cards are always fun. And then bigger tags. And so another thing you can do with the papers to create a collage, this was a book cover, an old book cover, and I just created a collage with my papers, and used some pens and one of my foam stamps that I have with joggles, and just created just kind of how I felt. It's fun not to have anything in your head, just, to do it. Sometimes you have to follow something, but for the most part, that's when I have the most fun, is when I'm just creating, and kind of, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So this is just, again, another, this is a blank book, papers. This is a box. I love cigar boxes. And you can see it opens, but the paper I used is one of my bird papers. So that's always fun. And you can fussy cut the papers as well. This is a bee from one of the papers. I didn't want to use the whole sheet of paper, so I just used the bee. And this is just a work in progress. Another book. And I think that's kind of, oh, one more thing. So I was playing around with the papers, because I'm always wanting to do, different things with them. And one of the things that I was playing around with was making these flowers. Just cutting them into little petals and gluing them together and putting just a dot of scrunch paper in the middle. These are fun. So does anybody have any questions?
Thank you so much, Rebekah. I have some questions.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So first of all, look how versatile those papers are. So that's not a question, but it's just like every sample you were showing, the versatility of all the different types of tags and canvases and everything that you can put them on. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I like to do with them. And then, to encourage people to use them in different ways, just as gift, to wrap a small gift, or there's just multitudes of ways you can use them.
So I'm putting the Joggles link in again. I've put your the rice paper and also your foam stamps. Let me just hit enter here. What size are those? They obviously look oversized. What
They're 9 by 12.
Okay.
And they're made in Italy.
Oh, okay. That is very cool.
Mm.
So they're a good quality paper.
Yeah, and that's what I love about that, because one of my questions was, well, what made you decide on rice paper? But I see the versatility and how it glues and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can stitch on it. Yeah, that's cool.
Stitching, yes. One of the other questions that came up, there you go, is the cold wax stable in really hot weather?
Yes, because it's cold wax. It's not melted in any way. It's kind of like the texture of a light, fluffy modeling paste, I want to say. So you just put it on, let it dry, and then you can also buff it. So it's not like hot wax. It's like a totally different thing.
And did you give us the name earlier?
Yes, it's Powertex.
Oh, yeah.
Powertex.
Okay.
And they have a whole product line of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Here's another question for you. Do you ever explore with fabric in your mixed media? And thanks for sharing your beautiful work.
Yeah, I love that. It's hard for me to decide what to do. So generally, a lot of times I will just combine paper and the fabric together. So this is an example of fabric and paper layered together. And then this has some slow stitching and just, little die cuts. And I think that's a die cut as well.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then this is a mandala.
Wow.
This is a stitch project. This one is all of fabric, but I've done them where it's fabric and paper before.
Wow.
So yeah, you can see the back. It's all stitched.
Yeah.
So the answer to that is yes. I do fabric a lot.
So I've known Rebekah for a very long time in the craft industry, and we actually roomed together at the H&H show this year. So I had the opportunity to get to know her a little bit better. One of the things I've always been so impressed with your work, Rebekah, is your mastery of color. And a lot of people don't realize that. And they'll look at your work and it's like so stunning. Yeah. And if you look deeper and deeper, you understand so much more about the use of color. Mm-hmm. Where did that come from? How did you learn about color theory? Or
no, not at all. I don't understand color theory. It's just a gut feeling. Just putting things together, and I'm fortunate other people like my colorways as much as I love them. And so I experiment with color. Some people may think that mine are always muted, but I do bright colors. It just depends on what I'm doing. But yeah, that's really how, or I will see, different color combinations. Like Pinterest is a great
Mm.
source for color. I have a board on my Pinterest page of I think I called it color inspiration or something. So whenever I see a combination of colors, I
Oh,
will put it on there.
that's smart.
You know, the friend of ours in the industry, Brenda Pinnock, from years and years ago when we first started the Cool2Craft channel, she would go out into nature, take photographs,
Yeah.
and then come back and pull her colors that way. And it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're just gorgeous
Yes.
paintings.
Yeah. Her paintings are amazing.
It always fascinates me because I'm not as gifted with color. It is a God-given talent for you to be able to pull that together, because it's you see it differently. You see things differently.
Well, everybody has something, in with the industries that we're in, you're always learning something,
Mm.
from people you teach. It shows. So that's why what we do is never dull or boring, because there's always
Yeah.
something, um, to learn from
Right.
other people.
Good. Well, I do see that Lenine is waiting in the wings, and I think we can bring her in. There we go.
Hi. So first, before I do any sharing, look what I
Oh.
have. Now, Eileen does have on her Etsy shop a bundle for this set. So if you're interested,
I
you
know.
can get the bundle.
Thanks for
I had
the
to put
ad
that
there,
in.
Lenine.
I had to put that in there, Eileen.
Thank you.
So what I'd like to share today, though, is my Jane journal, because Eileen was in England, so I thought I'd share this one. Jane Austen is one of my very favorite things to work on. I've even written a couple of poems on Jane. That was called Jane, and then I wrote one called Jane in Chawton Cottage.
Oh, wow.
And then I wrote another called Elizabeth.
Cool.
And my final one was, it had to do with sisters. I don't know where it is in here. But anyway, here are some of my pages
Wow.
in the book. Let's see, here's another one here.
Cool.
And then I put envelopes in there too, with like, this envelope has something someone gave me, but it was perfect to put things in that go in my book later.
Neat.
And then here's a big one of Jane.
Oh, wow.
But I just love, and then in here I do some like, I have to put something on this. This is stencil butter
Oh, yeah.
on black, but I haven't done anything on top of it yet. I have a lot of those. This one is, I took a book and it's Pride and Prejudice and copied it and put it right there, just a couple of pages.
Amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, and then one last thing, Eileen, you'll appreciate this. My students in my classes know I love Jane.
Yeah.
And they brought me this from the library.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great. Oh, beautiful.
So anyway, that's what I thought I would share today. I won't bore you with my poems or anything, but I thought I'd share my journal with you.
I got to say, Lenine, you are one of the most prolific creators. Every week you have new cool stuff. And like, you don't just have a book, you've got a whole collection of stuff that you've thought about to put in there. I mean, I
didn't do this week.
I know. But you are, and then you work in a scrapbook store. So you do it like all the time.
Yeah, every month I have to design 6 cards for a class of 28 people. And that is a lot of work because each card has a lot of parts.
Wow.
And so, But yeah, and I'm amazed it comes out of my head all the time. I'm really amazed.
Well, you inspire us. And I'm scrolling back up in the chat because I saw this earlier when Rebekah was on, that you probably missed this, Rebekah. Lenine said, "You're killing me. I'm trying to cut back on collecting." So yeah, and tonight's show has been filled with so many different ideas, and it's awesome. It just shows you all of the possibilities in our creativity.
Yes, I'm trying to stop collecting.
Were you like one of the first to order or collect this new collection?
I think I wasn't I, Eileen, on the Etsy?
Probably. I think she probably was.
Well, that is so cool. And Lenine, your work is always so inspiring and beautiful.
Well, thank you so much.
You.
I love inspiring people. That's my goal, is to inspire people.
Well,
thank you. We love that. Wow. I can't, it amazes me every time Lenine comes on and shows all of the work. I don't know how she has the time to work at the store, do her samples, do her teaching. And when you take a look at all of that, because I don't do a lot of paper crafting, when I see all the work that goes in to all of these pieces, and everything, Rebekah, you do, and Eileen too, it's there's layers and layers.
Yeah, it does take. And I am not a fast crafter. Like, I have to think about it. I make something. Yeah. Really, honestly, for me, the fun is the construction of it, and then I know I need to do more to it. But it's like, oh, it worked. Those pages fit where I want them to. So I think we all have things that give us satisfaction, and the rest is just kind of like, well, what else should I put on it, and what am I in the mood for, so I feel sometimes like I don't have a style. Like, I don't know that people would see something I did and think, oh, Eileen must have done that, like with Rebekah, because she has a look, and so do you, Tiffany.
Yeah, but your look is your dyes. We'll say that's an Eileen Hull dye. You can tell by your design.
Definitely.
Right? So you're inspiring thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of creatives because of your style and your designs.
Well, that's
right.
Nice.
I'm not letting you get away with that comment.
Well, okay. It's true.
Yeah.
I just mean,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when you say, like, I have a stylist, like, I feel like I have no stylist. Like, I'll look at something and go, well, I want to create something different from this, but I look at other designers like Rebekah, just like you said, where I go, oh, I know.
Yeah, that's her.
know.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. For those of you who are just joining us tonight, we have special guests joining me because Anne has taken the night off, but I do have a video I can show of hers. Is anyone in the mood for a clay pot snowman?
Yeah.
Let's get into a little bit of Christmas here and see if we can queue up this video, and then we'll have time to close out the show.
All right.
Hi, I'm Ann Butler. Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make a cute, adorable snowman from a clay pot and a few other items. First off, you're going to take a clay pot, a foam brush, and some Snow White paint, and paint the inside and the outside of your clay pot. Next, you're going to take 2 pieces of chenille stem about 4 inches long, twist them together, and we're going to adhere it to the clay pot. Then you're going to take 2 glittered pom-poms and place one on each side of your chenille stems. Isn't that adorable?
Cute.
Next, you're going to take and just snip off a corner of a foam craft sheet in orange. And we're going to adhere that to the center front of the clay pot. For the nose. Add just a fine line of hot glue on the very tip of the nose and sprinkle that with glitter. So there's just a little bit of snow on his nose. You can add it in other places if you want to give it a little bit of a more snowy effect. Next, we're going to add the eyes. So I have 2 wiggle eyes. And I'm just going to add a little hot glue to the back and place one eye down and then the other eye. I'm just going to take a Sharpie, or you can take black paint to do some eyebrows. And you're just going to do a couple angles like that. And then you're going to draw a mouth. And for the mouth, start at one side and just kind of make it squiggly. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'm going to take some pink polish paint. I shook it up already. I'm going to take a Q-tip, dip it in that paint, and then I'm just going to pounce on either side of the mouth to give the snowman some rosy cheeks. Now, he's simply adorable just like this, but I'm going to add a green ribbon down at the bottom. And I'm just going to add a drop of glue. And I took the nozzle and kind of flattened it so it wouldn't be bumpy. And I'm just going to wrap the ribbon around. I'm going to take another little piece of glue right there, just to tack it in place so it doesn't fall down. And I'm going to trim that ribbon. And add another little bit of glue. Again, flattening it with the nozzle because you don't want the ribbon to be bumpy. And you can leave it just like that, but you can also take a button and some DMC floss, thread your button like this, and then attach that right to the center front. And there you have it, an adorable little snowman.
Isn't that the cutest?
It is
Cute.
adorable.
Mhm.
She actually has had that queued up in our green room for the past couple of weeks if we needed to use it to fill in a show. So tonight was perfect to be able to start thinking forward to Christmas and our decorations. And the comments were adorable too, because Lenny was talking about sharing it with her homeschool pals. So, so it's a great little project. I do want to go back and ask, because Rebekah, since this is your first visit here, tell me how you got started in crafts.
Oh my goodness. I started doing craft shows, believe it or not. And at the time, what I was making were reproduction. So I would do 2 craft shows a year. My kids were real little, so I would wait till put them to bed, sew all night, and then, I can't do that anymore, but And then, so I did that, made reproduction like for Christmas, snowmen and Santas, the real old looking ones, and in the spring, rabbits, and Halloween, of course. And then I started a little pattern company called Sweet Annie's, and I started selling that was the beginning of selling my ideas, because I couldn't keep up with making things, to sell. It was just, I was getting tired of being up all night, even though I really liked it. So I took some of my designs that I was making and, wrote out patterns. And then I advertised in magazines and sold them that way. And then I did that for a while. And then, let's see, then came an opportunity to go to a convention for crafters that it was called SCD. And it was Society, at first it was the Society of Craft Designers, right? And then they changed it to Creative Designers. And so at those types of things, I would meet people like Eileen. That's where I met Eileen. And then, of course, Tiffany, too. So, that gave you access, a foot in the door to working with magazines. I would do a lot of magazine projects. And at that one of the conventions, a company called Walnut Hollow, they were a family-owned wood company that they were out of Dodgeville, Wisconsin. And so I was their design consultant, and I would do whatever they needed, models done for sales, and to support sales people when they would go to like Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever they needed models to show what can be done with the new Walnut Hollow products. And then I also did, which was really fun for me, was I designed their booth for the CHA shows. So did that for 5 years, and then the economy got real bad. And so they had to let me go. And then, oh God, I can't think. I just, from then till now, I've just done freelance. So work with some companies, but then I got into the digital designing, which I really enjoy. And so I do that these days, but I also do a lot with fabric and just different, but I'm at the point where I can do what I want to do, kind of experiment with different things. So that's in a nutshell. That's
I remember when you won that award at Creativation for the most innovative.
Oh, I forgot those. I forgot
Yeah,
those.
come on. You had them in Joann's. They were everywhere. I was
What
like,
was that?
I knew I was missing a spot. Okay. So I had a couple
little award that I won. Yeah.
Programs with different companies. My first one was called Fabric Elements, and it was with the Fabric Editions Company, and they were out of North Carolina. So I had these different packages of things, and I showed people what to do with them. Like, for instance, felt. You can dye felt, you can paint felt, you can use it as a backing for a little quilt. I mean, it's really versatile. And so I gave ideas on all the different things. So there was a bunch of different things in the program, and it was in Joann's for a while. And I did get an award at CHA for the best new product.
I remember. Yeah. Very impressive.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, that's a big recognition in the industry.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, that's awesome. So I didn't know all of the steps in the story. I knew you from Walnut Hollow.
Yeah, and I learned so much working for them. Um, just, how things come to market and just so much on every level. And then I also have, which I do still have, products with ThermoWeb, and this is an adhesive, but I have a couple other products with them, an adhesive in a jar, and some this is mixed media art paper that you can do a lot of different things with as well. So and that's thermoweb.com, I believe.
What's amazing for me to see is those of you who have been in the industry for so long, because I didn't go in this direction, the fact that you have your own products and you've maneuvered through all of that, it's amazing. It's not easy. It is not easy to do. So the fact that you've had that vision and that drive and you've understood how to sell yourself to be able to get these products created is...
And that didn't come easy to me because I'm by nature a shy person.
Right.
But the more you do, the more confidence you get. And I guess that's what I would tell any designer, having thoughts of doing that. The best thing I can say, and maybe Eileen too, is that whoever you're presenting to, they're people just like you.
Right.
Don't be scared. I mean, of course you're going to be nervous, but just think of it that way, that they're, and they're looking for new and exciting ideas. So never be shy. Something like Eileen, I bet for me, not everything is worked out, but if you didn't try,
Right. Then you never.
Yeah. So
I think a lot of people are, they just think, well, maybe I think it's a good idea, but I don't know about other people. But if you're a crafter and you would like the product, and that's kind of how I look at it, I'm like doing that manufacturer a favor.
Yeah.
Giving them an idea for a new product. So
right. And the manufacturers tend to be focused on other aspects of their business, and they need the designers, they need the creatives.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're right. Don't be afraid. If you have an idea, you still have to pull together a good presentation. You have to speak confidently. You have to be able to reach out to them to try and get that first contact. So
and be show your passion for what you're doing.
Right.
And I almost forgot one other thing is I've written some books also, so that fit in somewhere along the way. So.
Wow. Well, this has been a great show tonight, and I've loved the chat, loved seeing everyone who's been here, and I hope you've learned a lot, because I have learned so much from Eileen tonight and Rebekah. And these Wednesday nights are so inspiring to me. You get kind of that midweek, of course, the hump day and night, and it's like, oh, I need some inspiration, and you have given it to me tonight, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yes. There was a chat going on saying they'd like to have you back to make those flowers, so we need to get you scheduled.
Oh, okay.
To have you come back and make the flowers.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you both for joining me tonight, and I'm not sure if Anne's going to be back next week or not, but Anne, we're saying hello to you, and we miss you tonight. And we're going to go ahead and say goodnight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.